Hey guys, welcome back. So we were working on the firewall today. So see all these holes that go across our firewall? We're gonna fix them. We're gonna fill these in with steel, at least all the ones that, we want to. So here's our first piece. We just tack welded this, which I think is all we're gonna do. And the next one, you can see we got it in position. I'm just holding it with a magnet. And the plan is to just reach in there and put a couple tacks, pop the magnet out, tack the other side, and basically just do that. Throw a few tacks every, here and there, and go across the firewall. So our brake booster assembly goes here, so obviously we need that, and then our steering comes through here. Even though it's drag racing, we still need it. One of these will get filled. This is the heater core. Those are going to go away. That's the factory wiring harness, gone. AC stuff, gone. I put this in here a long time ago, gone. Gonna fill that too. Windshield wiper, gone. There's a hole down here, no idea, but we're gonna fill that. There's a couple on the floorboard. I just remembered I haven't cleaned them yet. See the rectangle by the floorboard? I actually have those. There they are. We're gonna do those too. I just haven't cleaned them yet. But yeah, we're getting there. So you can see, like if we zoom in on this, hopefully this will focus. So we've got the metal like kind of clean. It's not perfect, but I think it's close enough. I should do the backside. We'll see. I already welded that one and it kind of worked, so I may just roll with it. But yeah, anyway, pretty straightforward stuff. I just wanted to fill all these holes in. We'll have to add a couple back here and there for like wiring harnesses, stuff like that, but it's not going to be too bad. And it'll be, in my opinion, it'll be safer and better. We won't have as many fumes, and it's supposed to be a firewall, so if you ever actually had a fire, I'd like this to be a wall of metal, not a wall full of holes. So anyway, we're gonna try to get this knocked out. Alright, so we just got done putting a whole bunch of metal in this firewall. Check that out. So these little squares that went on the right is just not used unless you have an automatic miata. The one on the left there is the throttle cable. That's your heater core, wiring harness, AC things. That's a hole I made. That's another factory one for something. And the windshield motor. And we reached in here. There's a hole there we fixed. And I think that's about it. Might have missed one. And so let me show you what we're setting up for next. So our shifter. We have a, go this way. So the factory hole, we're just gonna fill it. I used to have a shifter in here and it was a little bit further forward, but we're gonna move it back. And my shifter just bolts down and has a cable that comes off. So I'm basically just gonna take a TIG welder or something and put some tacks to hold that plate in there. That way, if I ever want to go back and change it, it won't be too bad, because this is something I might actually change down the road. But same thing, got it all sitting pretty, and we're just gonna tack it in there. So far so good. We still gotta do those floor holes that you can't probably see. We'll do those in a little bit. But yeah, as a friend of mine said, I'm actually gonna have a firewall, which is what I was hoping for, because this thing had way too many holes in it to be to really feel safe about that. It does add a little weight. I mean, we're probably adding, I don't know, a pound of metal or something. And then, of course, this took some time to measure, order, pay for, and then weld in here. But kind of worth it. Safety is a big thing. Safety is a thing. So I'm okay with it. Anyway, get that shifter knocked out. Hey guys, welcome back. So we are working on our sidebar diagonal, and we just made it. And I want to show you how the fitment turned out. I got the camera set up weird, and it's very difficult to hold. But you can see we tie in there, and we came up really short. Like, whoops. I haven't figured out what went wrong yet. I'm gonna look into that. Screwed that up pretty bad. We're like 2.5 inches short. But the actual shape isn't too bad, so it mostly does what I wanted in that regard. But we got our rotations slightly off on the bottom, and the length is way off. So the bin location looks okay. So our plan, we did this on these tubes actually. We ended up doing like a mock-up piece where we taped it together, just multiple pieces until it fit, and then we made a pattern off of it. I think we're just going to do that again. Now granted, this one has a bend, but I'm pretty sure we can deal with that. So we're basically just going to take a saw, cut this, add a 2.5 inch section. We'll be able to rotate this so that that fits correctly, and try to get this tube to fit, and then we'll just pull a pattern off of it. I tried to go look at the math and figure out what I did wrong, and I don't know, maybe I'll look again, but it seems like I haven't figured it out. I don't know. But I'm 2.5 inches off, so I screwed up pretty bad somewhere. My only guess is maybe I threw like a mark here for something else, and I just grabbed the wrong mark by accident, or I read an 8 instead of a 5, or you know, some crap like that. Not really sure, because most of the tubes I've done have come out really close, like this windshield bar. I mean, we did it once, and look at the fitment, you know? So some of this stuff we've done good, but no big deal. We are gonna chop this up, make it fit, and just pull a pattern off of it. All right, so this is just taped together. This is 3 pieces, but it fits pretty good. Clipped good enough. So I did sit in the car. It's nice and comfy. This bar is plenty far enough away. No issues there. And I've got it pretty low. That's about as low as I think I can get it and still meet the letter of the rules and the intent. So if you kind of, let me try to back up a little. You can see that bar. I've got it about as low as I can get it. Let's see if I can. Yeah, this is kind of like a square on view. That's how she looks. So pretty good. This one's gonna be a little bit tougher to pull a template off of because it has a bend in it, but we'll manage. So we're about to pop this out the car, get our paper templates made, and go from there. A little bit of thought to go into that, because we could just try to pull the design off of this and just build one instead of doing it that way. So I have to think about it. Anyway, we'll figure it out. But she fits pretty good. I like it, and doing the curve helps, gets you a little bit of extra room, which I appreciate because my elbows poke out a little. So I sat in the car, and this shape pretty much follows things perfectly to give you some clearance. So nice. So far this is nice. Hey guys, welcome back. So we were working, and I haven't really filmed some of the progress, and I guess I'll do that in a minute, but I'm going to show you where I'm at on this. Well, anyway, that tube does our diagonal. It fits. It's good to go. Now we're working on this rocker bar, and this is the worst tube in the whole car. So this piece, I can't put it exactly where it goes, but it kind of goes here, but further down. But it kind of fits. That's just a mock-up tube for now. Then I got another mock-up tube that's kind of running across here. It's roughly at the right height, but you can tell if we go up to here, 2 things happen. One, it's not lined up, but the other problem is you can see it misses this mark. Well, it doesn't go here. That's where our diagonal is going to hit, and this tube needs to hit below the diagonal, so it needs to be like down there somewhere, which means this tube, after we get past the seat, which we'll come back to in a second, but this tube needs to go down and over. And I just took some approximate measurements. That tube needs to go about 2 1/4 inches down, 1 1/4 inches to the right. Something like that. This is going to be the hardest tube to weld, and I'm just probably going to go ahead and say this, that I don't know that I'll be able to get a 100% weld on this tube. I'm going to do my best, but man, this is a ship in a bottle if I ever saw one. So we'll do the best we can, and then we'll either just leave it and hope that it doesn't matter, or maybe we have to hire somebody to do it. I really don't know. Or they do make some extreme specialty torches that I don't really have the skill to use, but I could try that method maybe. Or cut holes in the car, drop the floor out, cut the windshield out, things like that, which I've looked at and I don't really want to do. See this tube here? If you were to cut the windshield off, essentially like in this region somewhere, you wouldn't be too far gone. Like if you cut, if I cut here and just went cut that, did that over there, and then this metal here, I'd have to cut some of this. If I did that, you could actually lift the entire cage out of the car vertically. And at that point, you really could tack everything in place, lift the assembly out of the car, fully weld it, lower the assembly back in the car. Then you got to reattach your windshield. And don't forget, wherever you cut it, that cage is going to be in the way when you try to weld it back. And obviously the structural, aspects of the car, I really don't want to cut all that. I could, but I don't want to. I don't know how much metal's under this. You may, because I ran into this problem in the back, where you start cutting and you realize you could never weld this back because there's like multiple layers on top of each other. And that could be the case in these pillars. So even if you did cut them, you might not be able to weld them back very well. Also, can you imagine like trying to get that line back up? What a pain. So that is our very last option, is cut the windshield out to allow us to do this out of the car. But we're not planning on that for now. So on the other side, we are going to do straight tubes. There's no seat over there, so the rocker and the diagonal are literally just 2 straight bars, but over here they're 3-dimensional. So we're going to do our best and send it. One of the thoughts, it sounds terrible, but nobody's probably going to look if 95% of a tube's welded and not 100%, or let's say I do get 100%, but the bottom 10% looks bad or doesn't look good, or whatever. I doubt anybody's really going to care. At the end of the day, I'm the one driving the car, not somebody else. So my guess is if I went to a track, they'd open the door, they'd look around, they'd see a rocker bar, they'd see everything else, and that's probably all that would happen. There's probably not going to be much after that. So anyway, we're going to keep working on this, but let's see. I guess I'll show you this bar. Let me see if I can just do that while we're talking. This guy. This goes here. So it kicks down there and it lands just above the shoulder area over here. And then vertically you can see it kicks out around the seat, or this way I guess, which is what we were shooting for. Which is awesome. I already put it in position and sat in the car, and it does exactly what I was hoping, so I'm good with that. It's just this bottom rocker tube is pretty much the worst one left. But we're going to try to get this knocked out. Even though I don't want to, we got to get it done. Once this is done, things will get a lot better moving forward.